Welcome to the show, and here are your hosts, the diabolical Elite Gaming Guru, the illustrious Red Dead Panda, and the Australian stud AshtreyGaming. So let's get this party started. Shit.
And we are live. After a few technical difficulties, we are live. So hopefully everyone can share this out and get it out there. Make sure people know which stream we're on and all that good stuff. Elite, you still there? No, he's not. So
he's muted himself.
He's gone up to get another rum, he said, so that's all right. Welcome back. This is the Gamers Initiative podcast with Elite Gaming Guru, Red Dead Panda, and myself, Ashtray. And we have a very special guest, Infinite Umbra. Welcome. And how you doing?
Yes.
How was your Christmas? How was your New Year's? All that kind of stuff.
Oh, thank you guys for having me again. Christmas and New Year's was uneventful, I suppose, but it was spent around family and friends, so that much was pretty good. That's all I can ask for. Yep. How about you guys?
Well, yeah, this is our first show back, isn't it, Red?
Yes. Yeah.
So we took a few weeks off, spent time with family. Red and I we've actually had the same amount of time off, 3 weeks, and we go back to work Monday, dreading that day, but it is what it is. So we've just been spending time with family as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I was at the beach for like just over a week, and then the weather soured, so we had to leave like 2 days early. But then I've been hanging out with my sister and playing some games. Yeah, I finished Mass Effect 2 on the Legendary Edition. And so I'm starting Mass Effect 3. I love Mass Effect so much, but I was like, it's been sitting there for ages. I might as well play it. But yeah, how was your Christmas and New Year's, Ashtray?
Quite good, yeah. Spent time with family went to my brother's place for Christmas. New Year's, never, haven't really done anything for New Year's for a long time now. I actually went to bed, I think, around 9:30, 10 o'clock that night. I don't care for it. It's just another day for me. But been spending time with the kids, taking them out for bike rides and to the park and stuff like that. Playing heaps of games over the last few weeks. So we'll talk about that soon. But I'm interested in what Umbra's been up to and what he's been playing.
I've been playing a bunch of things. You know, it's weird. I have such weird gaming quirks. Sometimes I'll play a AAA game that'll take me all my time away, and then sometimes I'll jump into something that's small. So right now, I've been playing a bit of Diablo 2, trying to get that in part 3 knocked out for 4. And I have been playing Persona 5 as well as Phoenix Wright, the attorney at law, Ace Attorney. So I'm kind of all over the place with mine right now, and I have so much to get through because my backlog is honestly insane.
Damn, man. I've been doing so. I jump around a lot of games as well. You guys are seeing some gameplay of Mad Max, which I know is a game from 2015, but I got it on a sale a couple of years ago. Picked it up, put it down, which I do with a lot of games, and then I was like, I need something open world, something that I can do other than just shooters constantly. And I remembered I've got Mad Max, so I downloaded it again and played it, and I was hooked on it. I actually played it for like, I don't know, probably close to 2 weeks straight until I cleared everything. I didn't 100% the game in terms of achievements, but I got pretty close. So
unfortunately, I think they blocked off it. I think it's like one achievement you can't even get anymore.
Oh, really?
Unfortunately. Yeah, I think you had to have it was something specific, I think, to having an internet connection with it, and something, I forget exactly what it was, but I think it's one of them that's blocked, and I hate that with achievements.
Yeah, well, that's no good.
They should just give you the achievement if you can't unlock it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
If it's not available, here's a free achievement to you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but I do love Mad
playing
Max.
Your game.
Great game.
Look, it's a pity that there's no second version of it, but I think it's Avalanche Studios that made it who are doing Contraband.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if that gives us any sort of indication on what the gameplay is going to be like, or we know the quality's there, right? So that gives me a lot of hope for what Contraband's going to be like, at least in that vein. So, but not just that. Like I played that a lot, but I jumped into Metro Exodus, jumped in and out of Anthem, Division 2, Bulletstorm, Red Faction, some old school games, Blade Fury, Crackdown 3, and of course Fortnite. So I've been all over the place as well, jumping in and out of games, trying to clean up a few achievements here and there, just to.
I finished.
Yep.
Vampire Survivors, all of their achievements,
I still haven't done that.
including the DLC.
Really? Well,
Vampire
you'd be happy to know that they're going to start putting updates into Game Pass for free.
Awesome. Well,
As
I'm
well.
happy to pay for that game. It's not expensive.
I
mean,
want
it's a
more
lot
for
of fun.
Tinykin. Tinykin would be good.
Oh, I want more for Tinykin too.
Mm.
I want more for that game was just unsurprised. Like it was.
Why?
just
What about me?
surprising.
Oh,
Elite, you finished getting your Brazilian wax.
Yeah. I got some rum. I just want to say a big shout out to
You would need
Infinite
to drink
Umbra.
some rum after that
Yes.
wax. Yeah, I agree.
What? I've trying to got some rum. When's your rum? Stop up with me old Captain Morgan's rum.
nice. Nice.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm buffering. I just want to shout because I'm buffering. I can't see the gameplay. or
Just
anything. I'm buffering.
just refresh,
If
refresh.
everything's right, then what else?
Refresh the page.
Okay.
Yeah, it's working well.
Uh,
It got stuck at 4K settings for some reason.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Wow.
I found out the achievement, by the way, Ashtray. It's called Up to Task, and what it was is they shut down their servers in 2020, and they needed you to get scraps, and it had to be recorded online.
Oh, really?
So that's it. Yeah.
Are you
that's what
sure?
messed it up.
Because I think I got that. I got that achievement.
You may have gotten it. You may have gotten it before they shut down the servers, which is
Mm.
perfect.
Oh, there
I
you
did
go.
not, unfortunately. Yeah. I
Oh.
wish I would have stuck to the game and did it, but oh well.
The Zinc, welcome from the chat. We've got Boba Fett as well and Wild Horse 74. Thank you for joining us. And yep, as Ashtray said, please share it out. It's episode 84 of our podcast. I can't believe.
Oh, yeah.
84
With-
episodes in.
With special guest Umbra.
Yeah.
Yes.
Umbra.
Yes, the
Fantastic, man. The famous Umbra now is getting big.
the
Getting big on those gaming streets.
That's what happens when you go to the gym. No, I'm kidding.
Soon you won't want to know us. Yeah.
definitely the best panel member from Xbox Infinite for sure. Hands
Yeah, I
down.
tried telling them.
Indeed.
I tried telling Peter and Risk that they don't listen to me, but it's true.
Well, of course
Yeah.
they're not going to listen to you because they can't hear you. You're all the way up above them. You see.
Yeah. Looking down on them with your foot on them.
Oh, don't blow my head up too big. I'll be coming to the show talking to them. What's up, peons? Are we ready to begin?
You need to do that today for your show. Like,
Yeah,
please, you've got to do it. It'd be so
I
good.
think I will.
Yeah.
Look,
I think I will.
I'm just saying we recognize greatness. That's all, you know. So
Ah,
take that how
yes.
you want.
Well, I'm in the company of greatness, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
We appreciate that. You guys would probably notice a slightly different look to our show from last year. It's a little bit cleaner. I've been trying to mess around with a few different looks. We've got a slightly different border, and the name shakes because that's what Elite wanted. Awesome.
Yeah. It's
That's because he likes to shake and bake. Do you not know that?
It adds a bit of razzmatazz.
There you go.
Razzmatazz.
I do like
You're
the
full of
font
rubbish.
that you guys use for that. By the way, I like that the font for the Gamers Initiative. I like that the way it's presented.
Thanks, man. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's
You like the way it shakes? That's my idea.
It'll be
Yeah,
that.
the
We'll just
shake is
put
nice.
"Shake Your Booty" to the background music while it does that.
It wouldn't be good if we had a booty on there that shook with it.
Wild Horse has put a requested number. He wants you to sing to him. No, I mean-
oh, what song though?
Oh.
Anything specific?
Yeah,
Any special?
yeah. Name something
request?
specific.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know, the Eagles or something. I don't know. On the dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of colitas rising up through the air. All right, I'll stop.
You just made Elite moist.
Yeah.
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 It's the rum. The rum did it.
The rum loosened him up, Umbra.
That's it.
The floodgates
just
are now
thought-
open.
Oh
I
shit.
just fighted the white stuff.
Oh. Oh shit. All right.
What games was I playing? Yeah, thanks for asking.
We don't
I've been
care.
playing- I was playing Cyberpunk. Yeah, Coden, Cyberpunk, Pine Life. I tell you what, I chatted to some mates online. Can't think of their names. Just very average players.
But you don't have
And they
mates.
Well, let me finish my story. You'll like this one. So I was chatting to some mates, and they was all playing Anthem, and they said, "Download Anthem." So I did, and they've not played it since. it's
Are you
it's the
talking
same fella
about
that told me. It's the same fella that told me that Vampire Survivors was trash. Don't play it, and then played it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, you never came back. I actually did jump into Anthem again after that,
BOS.
but you just didn't
I-
come back.
I tried to play it on my own, but I couldn't figure out how to fly again. So I was just running everywhere.
You do know you
You're
can
an
like
idiot.
look at
You're clicking the thumbsticks to fly.
Oh, fuck it. I was pressing every single button. I thought, this is
you,
bollocks.
you
And
do
I
know
turned it
there's
off.
this thing called the internet where you could
Oh,
find that
I'm gonna
answer
Google
out
how to
elite
fly.
if you needed. Yeah.
Google how
We'll,
to fly.
we'll play some. We'll play some of it after the show for sure. 100%.
Yeah,
I'm
faux
down.
show.
For show. After the show, for show.
Faux show.
Shall we jump to our first topic?
Yes.
What is that,
please.
Elite?
I'll tell you what it is. I had it open. Let me open it again.
Did he though?
Right.
Did he really though? Can he be trusted?
No.
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint to what it is. Sea of Thieves killer. It's been delayed for the
Yeah.
sixth time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sixth time it's been delayed. Do you remember that? So Ubisoft have cancelled all their games. There's something going on there, isn't there?
All except Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. It's almost like they've just given up. They can't be bothered to
goal
make
is to
anything other
protect
than Assassin's Creed. But Skull and Crossbones, which was going to be the Sea of Thieves killer, which was meant to come out at the same time as Sea of Thieves, I believe, in 2016, has been delayed for a sixth time to the point where nobody cares about this game whatsoever. And it still looks horrible to look at. Yeah. I've also delayed. Oh, man. This is going to kill you, Ashtray. They delayed Just Dance as well, 2023.
Oh, damn it. I was going to bust out my funky moves too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I dance pretty good for a white boy. Just saying.
You do. You sent me those videos.
Oh my god. I mean, you've seen the video, like two beers in each hand, that'll keep you balanced.
That's
The way you
it.
just slid down that pole without you using your hands.
Oh, well, there's lubrication involved there.
But yeah, what do you guys think then? Do you think now? Right, do you think there's the possibility of Microsoft purchasing Ubisoft, but they're just keeping quiet on it because of what's going on in APK at the moment? Because there was rumours of that, wasn't there, about a year or so ago?
Maybe.
My thoughts on it are that any purchase that's going to be something major like Ubisoft or whatever, or Ubisoft, that's not going to happen anytime soon. Obviously, because of ABK, which annoys me, by the way. Yeah. Any talks of that monopoly, that's going to stop. I mean, look how hard they're campaigning to stop the ABK situation. Any purchase or attempted purchase is just going to be met with major scrutiny and harm the ABK deal, so they're not going to go after that. Unfortunately,
you just look at Sony's remarks about how they can't make any Call of Duty equivalent. They won't be able to make any Ubisoft equivalent either.
true. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just being
Yep.
an asshole now.
Yes, well, who cares? That's fine. I think, Skull and Bones, there was a beta, 3 months ago, roughly? And a few people played it, and they didn't say very nice things about it. It wasn't, well received. So there's obviously
awful.
issues in terms of how it plays. I believe you could just essentially bring your ship right up to the side of an island, and then it just automatically puts you on the island. There's no actual docking process or anything like that, which I found sounds weird, right? So I think there's a few issues there. I don't think the beta was received well by players, so they've gone, shit, we really need to
Have a look at something.
do something about it. So they're delaying it
Yeah.
again and again. It's not going to be a
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves killer. It's just, that's obviously, it's
Hell,
a
the
joke
Ubisoft-
at this point.
Ubisoft is his own killer for it. 6 delays is insane.
Well, it's
I mean,
not just. Oh,
yeah.
sorry, Amber. Go.
No, you're good. I was just saying, that's crazy when you really think about it. I mean, the game has been in production, I believe. It's like it just actually, I believe, it surpassed. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Beyond Good and Evil too. But Skull and Bones has been in production, development rather, since 2013. That's insane.
That
So
really
like
is.
10
decade.
years. Basically,
decade,
10
yeah.
yeah, damn.
That's crazy. It's almost like, you can't call it
Well, to be
shovelware
honest, they've
quite
only been working
exactly.
with Skull and Bones. They still haven't really put the flesh on it, to be honest. So those last couple
Oh
years. So.
no,
I mean,
Destroying Ashtray.
that was
It's my
wait a
day
minute.
job.
Oh, you got to get a tomato for that, Red. I just heard what you said. Usually Risket gets those tomatoes, but that's definitely got to be. Yeah.
Sorry.
that was bad.
It's cringe. It was cringe. I know, but it was just sitting there waiting for me to say something, and I was like, I have to. I just can't let this go.
Sometimes things are better left unsaid. Isn't that right,
I
Elite?
don't think yeah, that's why I've just skipped over that. I don't think this game ever had potential though, because if you ever looked at the gameplay of it, it just looked like an FPS version of Sea of Thieves. So whatever anyone thought of Sea of Thieves, imagine that, but much, much, much more minimalistic, and that's what you got. Skull and Crossbones, and that's why it wasn't well received, basically. So.
Well, there's been a lot of changes in the scope of that game because a lot of it was like just ocean warfare, and then people were like wanting to do things on land, and so they added that.
They wanted to be Sea of Thieves, basically.
Yeah, they wanted it. I
Yeah.
guess not really Sea of Thieves specifically, but more like Pirates of the Caribbean type. I guess like that's what I felt like they were going for.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves.
Yeah. But like this is not only just like the discussion about it's being delayed 6 times, but they've cancelled like 3 unannounced projects as well on top of the 4 unannounced projects. I mean, 4 unannounced, 4 projects that they cancelled last year. So that's 7 games in the space of 2 years that have been cancelled, and that's a little bit concerning and puts up a red flag for myself around what is happening in the Ubisoft space. Yes, they've got Assassin's Creed, they've got Beyond Good and Evil 2, which I would like to actually hear something about that sometime soon one day, guys, because I really want to play that game. But like give us something, Ubisoft. Or but it does concern me that this is happening. So I know that they've got, and we're going to talk about this next. They've got their subscription service coming soon to both PlayStation 5 and Xbox, and wherever else it's going to be. But it doesn't bode well for what's happening because they've done a lot of consolidation and a whole heap of other things and restructuring and such within Ubisoft. And so it concerns me that this is happening as well. They're really having to downscale and prioritize. And it doesn't bode well when you think about what's happening with other companies that have done the same thing and they've been selling developers or IPs, and it makes it sound like it's ripe for acquisition. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, just to add to that, they've got that Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which has already been delayed as well. But that should be coming, I would think, this
Later
year
this year.
sometime. That looked pretty good. I watched the trailer on that about a year ago, 6 months ago, whatever, and it was pretty good. So I was dismayed that it was delayed. The way I kind of see it with Ubisoft is they've got some IPs that just don't really
Do anything?
yeah, they're not, they're not strong IPs, but they continue to make those games. And this is where they've gone, okay, well, we've got far too many IPs that we're working on. Let's consolidate and let's actually just work on the ones that are going to make us money. We know Assassin's Creed is going to be profitable for us, especially going back to their, sort of original formula. With Mirage, I still hope that I'm all for that, and I'm happy to give that a shot. Definitely want to play it, but I just hope it doesn't go back as far as the first few, where if you don't walk down a specific road when you're trailing someone, it says you lost your target because you want to go around a certain way. You know what I mean? I hate that. Yeah.
Well,
Give me the option to pick which way I want to attack it. That's all
I think
I'm
they
asking
learned
for.
a lot when like Unity had that thing where you could approach a mission in many different ways.
Mm.
And I feel like as long as they give people the freedom for that, then yes, it should be fine. But I do like the fact that they are going a bit more back to their roots with the Assassin's Creed franchise, with Mirage. It is something where people are calling for it because I love Assassin's Creed 2 so much. It's my favorite Assassin's Creed game out of all of them. And then I really loved Origins. I don't know, it was just a good game for me. So it was like completely 2 different styles of Assassin's Creed games, but they both had their merits and they were both good in their own right.
Sadly, I never got to Origins yet. Like I stopped at Unity.
I mean, I don't
I got a
blame you
ways to
stopping at
go. Yeah, like I got to get through Unity. Like I'm bad at that too. I like to play games in and a uniformity, right? So I can't skip ahead, or like I can't be on part 3 if I never played part 1. So like I'm bad at that. So I have to get through those first and make my way through it. But I've heard nothing but good things about Origins. But for me, and it's correlative at least because of Black Flag. Black Flag is my favorite in the series. I do love part 2 like you, but
Mm.
Black Flag is my favorite, and Skull and Bones is really the sorry to say it again, it's the bones of
Mhm.
Black Flag. It's just that they try to turn it into something more. But it's just crazy how they've mishandled it in many other games, like Ashtray pointed out, on games that people don't really get into or play anymore. I would say the Just Dance game. I think that's even run its course. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I
then
think so.
yeah, but then you have all like with Skull and Bones, and for instance, the reason why it's even more egregious is not only just the time it's took for development from 2013 till now with no production, with no release rather, but also that they're tied to the Singapore government. So now it's like they have to get it out. It reminds me of that situation with what was that game? Kingdom of Amalur. You all
Oh,
remember
I
that?
love that. That was THQ
Great,
Nordic.
great game, but it was tied to the state, I believe, or the city of what was that? I want to say
Can't
Boston, but
remember.
it's not Connecticut or something like that.
But
S-
THQ Nordic, I think, got the IP when they bought it. Was it THQ Nordic who bought it?
I think you might be right. If
And
not them,
then they
Embracer.
released the Re-Reckoning version of it.
Yep, the
That game was
re-reckoning.
that game was good.
Yep. Yeah, so it's so many things that's wrong with like internally with Ubisoft, unfortunately. And I mean, it wasn't helped with the workplace environment that they had with the harassment, abuse, and misconduct, and discrimination. All of
Yeah.
that helps to hurt it. And now their stock has dropped to what, $4 and some change, and it's the lowest it's been since 2016. So like
Yeah.
they're hurting, and
Mm.
they are ripe for acquisition. That's the craziest, saddest part. And if the ABK situation wasn't going on, then absolutely, I believe Microsoft would probably swoop in. Hell, I think
I
they
think
still
so,
will
yeah.
be acquired. I actually said this to Pete. We were talking about that, I think, last year, early last year. And I was telling him, I think that they'll be acquired. And he's like, nah, bro, that's, Guillemot. I don't know how you say his name. You know how he
Shares
talks.
was that? Yeah.
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 I don't think they really want to keep the company, mate. And I was like, yeah, I
Yeah,
get
mate.
it. But there's
That's not
only
a
so
knife.
much you could do. That's a knife.
You can only hemorrhage so much, right?
But
Yeah.
you played Norby Spoony before.
Yeah. Well, you can only hemorrhage so much before you got to relook at it and go, is this something worth doing?
hmm
And yeah, it's because isn't it? Is Ubisoft a family-owned company?
They are.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you say his name exactly right, so I'm going to butcher it, but it's Yves, I guess. It's Yves. It's probably
Yeah.
like Vies, or Guillemot, the Guillemot family. So I get that they want to keep it in house, but if you're losing that much and you're bleeding that much money with 20,000 plus employees, something's got to give. And if they're
Yeah.
not hitting their marks, and you know what, I wonder too if they're under that same issue that Square Enix was, where they put their projections of what their games were supposed to sell so ridiculously high that it could
What?
never reach the standards. You know what I mean?
Well,
Because like they complained about the Tomb Raider series, but that was selling well,
yeah.
for
Well,
instance.
Mario and Rabbids and even Just Dance both underperformed in comparison
Yeah.
to previous versions. So I think, or previous iterations in the series. So I do think that
Mhm.
is a consideration for them, and maybe they're going back to the drawing board, and they might be hoping that the subscription service keeps them a bit more afloat in that respect. Yeah.
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 Well, now's the time. Like they've obviously seen the writings on the wall. They're consolidating by canceling a bunch of unannounced projects, which is probably a good thing, and use that manpower money behind the IPs that are going to work for them, that they know that's going to sell and make them the money. Uh, Look, this happens from time to time with big businesses. They overcapitalize, whether it's on projects or staff even, and they've got to sit back and go, all right, well, we need to consolidate and readjust and then move forward. So we don't really know how bad it is for them, but the fact that they're looking at canceling, or they're canceling projects, is a telltale sign that things aren't great. But that doesn't mean that it's the end. This could just be a preventative measure from that worst case scenario where it, potentially could then fail. So who knows? But as mentioned, as Red mentioned, part of the next topic moving through into this is the Ubisoft Plus into Game Pass. Now, I did a video 3 months ago and also, and that was on that. There's been rumors of Ubisoft Plus coming to, or a version of Ubisoft Plus coming to Game Pass or to Xbox at least. Apparently, could be a separate login or a separate tier, not tier, but a separate offering. I think, in my opinion, I think they need to integrate it into Game Pass, just like they've done with EA Play. And have it maybe just as part of Ultimate. But if they create another tier or two, look, we know the family plan's coming along soon as well, so maybe it'll get introduced at the same time as that, and they'll have a different tier for it. But this could be something that assists Ubisoft in making that money, because I know there's a list out there of roughly 20 games that people think that it will come to the service straight away, and there's a few games on there that that I'll play. So, Ubisoft will get payment from that. So this could be that thing that just helps them keep, getting some revenue in while they're readjusting their business.
Yeah.
I agree,
think
Red.
like a lot of the games, unfortunately for me, I pretty much own most of them, so it won't exactly help. But if they brought like the full slate of Ubisoft Plus, that would be crazy. That would be something that would be pretty monumental. But as it stands, it looks like it's going to be pretty much the EA Play version, right? Like how EA does it.
Yeah.
Well,
But I
after
think that'll
6
be
months.
helpful. Yeah, which is, I mean, it's still helpful. If that comes into the service, that just really catapults Game Pass that much more into something that is a must-have thing. You're right. So I'm good for it in general. And yeah, I'm good with that. Red, I see Elite rather. I see that. Yeah, but my thing is,
What's he saying
yeah, I
now?
think look into the topics, you'll see it. But yeah, I'm absolutely. I feel like that would be a really cool thing if this was added. They actually spoke about this, I think, early last year. It was mentioned. I think it was leaked by somebody by mistake and posted, and they had to take it back and take it down. The Ubisoft Plus was coming to Game Pass, so it is what it is. It's a long time coming, and I think maybe part of their financial issues could have probably been solved a little bit going into Game Pass earlier into PlayStation and such like that. But I don't know. Hopefully this helps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rabbids Party of Legends, I'm assuming that's a party game. I haven't looked into that one. That could be cool for people to play on games nights. Rayman Legends, I'll jump back into that. I haven't played that for a long time. It's got the Ezio collection. Been looking at that, been seeing that on sale. No, it's probably going to come to Game Pass at some point in time. And look, it could be coming to the service with this anyway. So there's a few games that I'll still download and play just because it's there, and that's what they're going to be hoping for from some of us. And then you got the wider public that'll just jump in and probably have never played half of these, so they will play them. Like Elite will probably pick up and play a few of these.
Yeah, I was playing that Ubisoft rollerball game.
Yeah.
Seeing you guys about it, and they cancelled it after a month. So, but yeah, I'll definitely play some of these games. But I think this almost leads to more of them purchasing Ubisoft, and I bet there's things going on behind the scenes that they're not talking about because of the ABK deal. But because they did talk about having there was another big purchase on the line, didn't they? There was hints at that, and I bet it is Ubisoft, but they just can't say anything. So they're probably waiting to close that deal before they go, yep, Ubisoft ours. But yeah, I'm quite excited for Ubisoft going into Game Pass. I mean, Game Pass, and then they got that deal going in the background with Netflix, haven't they? So potentially Netflix could be in Game Pass. EA, Ubisoft, all Xbox games. You can't beat it really. It's going to be incredible.
You put all those offerings into Game Pass, and you're definitely going to see Game Pass prices increase, and you're
100%.
going to see the different.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%. You're going to definitely see some variations around like tiers and how people choose to engage in Game Pass. Whether you choose to go with like the basic tier, which is just the console, whether you choose to go for Ultimate, which is the PC and console, or whether you just choose to go PC or family. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens if with the idea of these getting integrated into Game Pass to some
Yeah.
degree. But I do agree that with
But that's
yeah, sorry, I'll
you,
let you.
no, go on. Someone
cut you
go.
off.
No, I was just going to say, but that's sort of. But I was just going to jump on what you said about the sort of Game Pass increasing in value, in cost. But there's almost like that's thrown out there like a negative. But I can understand right now it would be a negative because they're not giving us what we need from them. But if they dropped Ubisoft in there, EA in there, and they stopped dropping all these big games, and then Netflix went in there, then I think people would be more than happy to pay. Considering Paramount have just put up the price of their subscription service just because they've dropped a Sony game in there. I think people would be happy to. We would all be happy to pay an extra $5 or £5 a month if Netflix and Ubisoft games were in there. We would not. I think you'd be kicking yourself if you didn't. Even even £10, $10 a month if you didn't have to pay for your Netflix subscription anymore. And you just
let's not go crazy.
Yeah.
Let's not go crazy, Guru. I mean, listen, the value is crazy already in Game Pass. But yeah, if they add enough, man, absolutely, I won't complain. $5 more or whatever.
No,
I mean, it has to be fitting, right? Like if it went to $10, yeah, I'd be like, nah, that's not conducive to my pockets. But yeah, $5 more with that added to it. Yeah, I can see that reasoned out. I can rationale that out for my pockets and pay for that. Absolutely.
Would you say no? Would you say no to $10 though? If this year alone, Starfield hit, Forza hit, Redfall hit, and then say Hellblade 2 hit?
Yeah, I still would because those things were already promised, and it's like the thing we talked about. But yeah, I'll just say like the reason why I say that is because, for instance, they raised the game prices now to 70, right? So, or they're going to be, and now those games that were already promised and got delayed until this year are now 70 when they should have been 60. So it's it's going to also feel kind of like you're getting cheated in a way, right? It's still going to leave that taste, that sour taste in your mouth a bit. And I think even adding Ubisoft Plus, I don't think that's worth a $10 increase. I would say $5. Yeah.
Oh, he said plus Netflix.
Oh, well, Netflix, plus Netflix. Yeah. If it's both of those, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. If it's both. But I was thinking it was just Ubisoft. But yeah, if they added both, if both could be added, yeah, and then I would absolutely pay for that.
And then potentially 2024, we'd have Call of Duty in there and all Activision games.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it's interesting when you look at it. Like they're talking about potentially having more than one tier for this Ubisoft Plus. So maybe a lower tier gets put into Game Pass, like EA Play, like you mentioned, Ashtray. And I would have no issue with that. Like I like the fact that 6 months later, after a game releases with EA, it shows up, and I can play it on my Xbox through my subscription. And that is fine by me because there's so many games already. Like it's just adding to my backlog anyway, so it doesn't make much of a difference. Ubisoft, that would be a fine option for that as well because it means that people can choose to prioritize buying games that aren't in the subscription service and then playing the ones that end up in the subscription service. Yeah, I think it's all about prioritizing and just good decisions in that respect, but I'm okay with that. I don't think they'll put the full thing in. But yeah, do you think it will definitely be integrated into Game Pass? Because I know there's still rumblings saying like it's going to be a separate subscription. I assume they'll probably integrate it with what's happening with Ubisoft at the moment.
Back in May last year, Ubisoft said it will be a separate service, but I think that would be a silly mistake because like Umbra's played most of these already, so he's not going to then opt in for another $5 or whatever a month on top of Game Pass to play Ubisoft games when he's played them. True. It's the games that are there. I've played majority of them as well. The ones that I would play would only be if it's integrated into Game Pass because there's really no point to again spend that extra money on games that I could sort of easily forego. So I think it's and as we said in the previous topic, they're in a bit of a financial state. They need to make that smart move and put it into Game Pass for it to work.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's just not really going to see the numbers that they would potentially see being in Game Pass.
Not considering when you're looking at both PlayStation having a subscription service as well, and this also going to PlayStation. Like EA players now on PlayStation, but they haven't integrated that into their PS Plus subscription service as of yet, right? From memory.
I don't know. Don't keep up on that.
Yeah. And so adding another subscription, which would be pulling away from people who are already subscribing to other things. I guess we also like I subscribe to like Netflix and I subscribe to like Amazon Prime. So I do subscribe to more than one subscription, but like when you keep subscribing to more than one subscription, it slowly adds up. So like integrating it in there and not kind of dividing gamers. I think wherever you go, like if it's on Game Pass on Xbox or if it's with PS Plus on PlayStation, I think that's the smarter move for Ubisoft. Yeah.
For sure. And I mean, a team that puts a game in Game Pass, and we've always heard positive things about how well the numbers are. Games have picked it up, they've played it, they've liked it. You know, this is far beyond what we imagined, all that kind of stuff. It's the same thing. These are games that Ubisoft have already paid for to make, and they've already made their money off them. What's so hard just to put a section saying Ubisoft Plus in text and then adding the games in there? It's not something that would cost a huge amount of money to do. We already see a few Ubisoft games in there already. Just make their own little section within Game Pass and done, and they'll reap rewards, the benefits of that straight away without any delays, because people download games straight away and play them, and they'll get paid. So
I mean, I love the Ubisoft games. So yeah, I mean, I don't really play Far Cry games because I can't be bothered paying for them. So this would be a reason for me to play them for once. I'm a fraud, apparently. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, like, and the thing too, like you said, I mean, like it has to be a refreshing of games that become like EA does with the 6-month thing after. It couldn't just be the games I've played through already. Elsewise, I don't see the need to get it. But I feel like as far as the whole situation goes with Ubisoft, it just feels like they need to have a restructuring in general. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of those people, 20,000, some of those people are going to be losing jobs. Unfortunately, it seems to be the case.
Yeah.
They're probably going to have to downsize. Probably, I would imagine a good half of that would have to go, because supposedly, I believe it said something around 200 million would have to be accounted for, that'd be taken off the books. So that seems like a lot of lost jobs right there to me.
absolutely.
That's what's kind of sad about the console war thing, because you will see people rather see companies like Activision and Ubisoft collapse and completely vanish than for Xbox to purchase them and save them. I think that's a big sort of worry, really.
Yeah,
you've got to put console war aside, really, because these are big companies and they should be saved, deserve to be saved. And these jobs deserve to be saved. These people's sort of livelihoods deserve to be saved, really. So,
well, I feel on that side of thing, the industry probably look after their own. So there's probably, and they probably all know each other to a certain extent. Anyone that loses their jobs from Ubisoft could probably go somewhere else because they know someone else, another developer that works, for one of the teams at Embracer or over in the UK. There's heaps of teams and businesses over there, so there's a good chance that they can still get snapped up and join teams of other developments and stuff. So
of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Embrace,
I think that they kind of all look out for each other because they all understand they're all in the same boat. Their jobs could go at any time. It seems to be that kind of industry where people can lose their job at the turn of a hat, but I think they can find another job fairly quickly within that industry because they'll know someone. And there's always businesses looking. So
Embracer can buy them all, and it's not a monopoly, so we know that.
And Tencent can do that too.
Yeah, and Tencent can do that. And Sony, just not Xbox.
Yep.
I think that's going to end up being the case, by the way. Embracer or maybe Tencent might try to come after them. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
You don't think 2K?
They're behind, they're out.
Maybe.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be incredible if Sony bought them? If the ABK deal got cancelled but Sony bought Ubisoft and got allowed.
Their games
imagine the kickback from that. Yeah, it made them more exclusive. Can you imagine the kickback from that?
Imagine they do it in the FTC and the CMA and all of that have no issues with it. I'd be like, you know what?
That'd be it.
And we know that that's the case. That'll happen.
Yeah, we know that would happen.
Yeah, it would.
speaking of the FTC guys,
Oh shit.
yeah. Google and Nvidia have expressed concerns over Microsoft's ABK acquisition. This has just come to light, and it's kind of interesting that Google is saying stuff because it could give Microsoft an unfair advantage in like cloud subscription and mobile gaming. Google has an unfair advantage in mobile gaming. Like it just and like Nvidia, they basically just do the graphics cards, right? And they have their Nvidia Shield. Is that still a thing? No, not Shield. Yeah, no.
It was a
Nvidia
shield.
Now. Which one's the one with their cloud service? I can't think of it. Is it still around? I never hear anything about it. GeForce Now. That's right. So yeah, what are your thoughts on these guys weighing in and I guess kind of saying that this could give Microsoft an unfair advantage in those markets if
Can
this
I
deal goes through?
can I go first?
You
Hmm.
may go first.
All right.
Well, it's not like there's any conflict of interest there with Google wanting to.
You're an idiot.
What, mate? There's a,
That's such
There's
a
a
bad
massive-
accent, by the way,
Oh,
Elite. That's appalling.
wait for
Get a
Umbrus.
dialect.
Wait
coach.
for Umbrus.
What's wrong with my
Massive-
voice? I'm pretty sure I'm pretty solid over here.
Oh shit!
Problem
You
there?
sound a bit
Yeah,
English
your
though.
Umbros is much better.
They were just naturals. So
Oi.
where was I? Oi, you. Oi.
Oi,
Oi.
oi, mate.
Oi. Where was we? Where was us?
Where was we?
Oh my God.
Shit! For you guys out there, I
Continue.
apologize
Oh.
on behalf of the show.
You apologize.
Shall I carry on in my natural Australian accent to renew
You,
you
you
need?
may continue, yeah.
Yeah, correct that, mate. Get yourself in order there.
Yeah. Well, let me just grab myself a schooner before I continue. All right. So, what I was going to say was,
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's a massive conflict of interest with Google just trying to downplay Microsoft because they're obviously in competition, mate. And I think we can't take anything Google says as sort of got to take it all with a pinch of salt, really. The video
Yeah,
just the video just think desperate at this point. What do you think, Ambra?
Well, I look at it quite like this, Guru. I feel like they're being pushed into this, mate, because they have certain things that they have themselves their issues with, and Google have faced their own share of adversities when it comes to the FTC, and I think now they're trying to play ball by their standards if they don't want to,
Sound like
have
Jason
them.
Statham.
Sounded like you're becoming like a Ninja Turtle with the cowabunga type attitude there at Umbra for a second.
Oi.
Someone says you
I
sound
take my
African?
accent. I take my accent seriously, eh?
God damn it.
Oh my god.
This is serious here. No, but it's they have their own duopoly, and it's crazy because those two major companies they have their own duopoly. Yet they're sitting here trying to now that's Jason Statham. They're trying to sit here and rally against Microsoft here. I believe there's some politicking going on here. Personally, it doesn't sit right with me, and I think that there's some duplicity behind the scenes here. It just doesn't sit right with me, mate. Personally, but I'll say this:
God.
even the
Sorry
standards
about
of
this.
what they say, the more I go along, the more gruff my voice becomes. But
Are you going to
Yes,
become
I-
Batman shortly?
You need a lozenge.
where are they?
I'm Batman.
Oh my god. Mm.
But yeah, let me stop. I have to stop.
Umbra's like,
Serious
Umbra's like,
Batman.
no one's gonna watch this shit anyway.
It'll be somebody to reference it. Watch. But no, the biggest thing is that these guys coming into the field, it has to be What's up, J Rock? You heard it. Boy, what up, man, J Rock? Hey, welcome to the show. My authentic accent here. I'm putting on my English accent now. Yeah, but I feel like it's crazy to see these two companies come out. So I know it has to be some type of agenda behind the scenes, right? Because they like this pointed out, these two have their own duopoly in the fields they're in. So what's the chance that these two, who are basically almost monopolies themselves, coming out to stand against Microsoft in some way? I'll say this though, from what I saw, what they said was kind of soft shoeing. It wasn't even heavy. It was kind of like, yeah, the games have to be, everywhere. Like maybe it should be accessible everywhere. Which, by the way, doesn't sit right with me either to hear, because I get annoyed with that. And I said this on our podcast, where Microsoft, when they're doing acquisitions, it has to still be everywhere and available for everybody. But Sony can acquire who they want, or Tencent, or whatever, and it's no such restrictions. Now, obviously, those games are third party and will be possibly everywhere anyway. But Sony is not. You don't hear those restrictions for Sony when they acquire somebody. It's only with Microsoft is it. It's still expected to be everywhere. So it annoys me to hear that, or to read that rather.
Indeed.
That's the only issue I really have with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Google's just salty because Stadia shit itself, or they closed it down because it wasn't up to snuff. And then, I mean, Nvidia coming out, and Xbox, Microsoft are huge partners with AMD. So that just seems salty too, right? They're like, because Xbox are huge partners with AMD, been working with them for a long time now. All of
10 years.
Oh yeah, and I mean, what is it, Lisa Su? Phil's pretty cozy with her. They've been using all of their products, chips in the servers. So it's not just Xboxes. You got 20 million Xboxes sold, but you got all those servers in the racks as well. There's got to be millions of those. So they're using a lot of the AMD product, and obviously Google's, in partnership or, with Nvidia, and they're just throwing shit out there really and hope it sticks is the way I see it. But they're a bit salty on where Xbox is at, their cloud servers, their partnership with AMD.
I think
that's what I think.
I think they're piling on a little bit to kind of force the hand and get concessions. I feel like that's their big goal here. And like talking about duopoly, really important to remember that Google and Apple have their duopoly there. Nvidia is part of a duopoly basically around like AMD and Nvidia themselves. So it's interesting to see these guys kind of put their hands up and go, hey, we have a problem with this. Like, yes, Google Stadia had challenges with cloud gaming. They were jumping into an already established market where people are heavily brand loyal. And if you want to blame anyone, blame yourselves, like blame gamers for why Stadia never took off. We didn't believe in it. We didn't believe in Google enough to go, we're going to put our time and money and effort into them, knowing that they have a history of starting things up and then closing things off regardless of how many people actually like it or not. I mean, that happens with every company on certain services that they offer and devices that they offer. Like, look at Windows Phone, dead, gone. But like, it's not Microsoft's fault. They have been playing the long game and setting it up. Phil Spencer has come in and kind of set this up, gone through and to Satya Nadella and said, this is our plan. This is what we're going to do. They've been executing it very well. The point where they are in all markets. They are going for the mobile market. They have cloud gaming. They have PC market. They have console market. They have just diversified themselves enough to make sure that no matter where they choose to put their games on any platform, they're making it so as a brand, Xbox itself is everywhere. And that's really important to people who are brand loyal. Because it is brand loyalty at this point. You've got Nintendo, you've got your PC Master Race, you've got your PlayStation gamers, you've got Xbox gamers. They are very brand loyal. And Nvidia, you've got the PC market. Like, just shove off. I don't know.
Don't you see that these two are kind of like Xbox is like I don't know, like a bug on the ground, and they're these two guys just poking a stick at the bug. Like that's kind of what they're doing. They're just kind of prodding that bug.
Beating
Just
a dead
to
horse.
well, no, but just to prod it and poke it and see what it will do. Because that's really all they're doing, in my opinion. It's just, again, just throwing shit in and just seeing what will happen and just stirring the pot, like Elite does all the time
Yeah.
with these pillows.
Pillow pets. Yeah, it's pillow pets. Yeah.
We're on the same wavelength. I like it.
We were.
Well, anyway, you guys are watching the Gamers Initiative podcast with myself, Ashtray Gaming, Red Dead Panda, and Elite Gaming Guru, and the one and only infamous Infinite Umbra. You were looking at some gameplay from Mad Max, which was a really good game. And if you haven't played it, it's from 2015. If you haven't played it, definitely get on it. It runs at 60 FPS, by the way, which is awesome. Next topic.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
Quickly shout out to the chat. By the way, thank you all for joining us. Share it out. Appreciate having you here. Yeah. And awesome. Thank you for joining us. Special guest Umbra and special guest Elite Gaming Guru.
Well, I wouldn't say Elite's a special guest. I mean, he's special.
Special with
and a guest, but they're two separate things.
Quotation mark.
A special comma guest.
Sorry.
Yeah, look, we'll go through. I don't know how long we'll spend on this because we already know all about it, but you're killing your PS5 if you use it vertically due to a design flaw by Sony, according to hardware experts. Now, this caused a big kerfuffle. Was it early in this week or late last week? Around Twitter and the gaming space about these hardware experts breaking open PlayStation to fix them and seeing that the what do you call it? The liquid metal is quote unquote leaking. What developments have you, or what do you know about this, guys? What do you think? I'm sure you guys spoke about it on Infinite Xbox Infinite last week. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we had KY on last week, KY Bob, and he was talking about it, and he has a master's, I believe, in I forget what it was, engineering, I believe. So he spoke on it more so than we could. Me personally, I don't know how true the validity of that is, and I know there was some apparently some people recanting some things, so I don't know how valid it is. It seems to be the case that it's unique to just a few PlayStations, from what it seems like. The guy who runs that shop in France and such. I don't think he was being deceptive or anything like that. I think it's just a matter that it's probably less affecting more PlayStations than anything. But I think it's still a serious thing that might have to be looked into. We'll see how it progresses. I mean, as I pointed out last week when we talked about this on the show, the Red Ring's death started out slow like that too. It started out with just a few people that yeah, exactly. So you never know how it could go. Right now, I'm just looking at my vertical PlayStation 5 and just making sure that it doesn't take off into space and blow my whole place up along with it. That's the only thing I'm worrying about. But other than that, it's okay. I don't touch it enough, I suppose. So it should be safe for me.
Well, if you want to keep it, just flip it vertical the other way and let it run back the other way, and then flip it. So just change it every day, and you'll be right. But look, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the article did update because they misquoted the man, because they believed, or the way they wrote it was that they're leaking straight out of the box, which isn't the case. And he didn't say that. He just said that it's basically after some use, they'd opened some faulty boxes and noticed some leaking. Now, they've come out with about 4 different iterations of the console in the last 2 years. So that actually could be its saving grace, where it might be limited to a certain amount of consoles, not all 30 million, because they've had so many different iterations. They've changed internals for basically three or four times, that it actually might only be to a small amount. So that could be actually their saving grace. Yeah, a bit of luck on their end. I would like to know what model, though. It would be nice if someone actually came out, and if anyone out there knows in the chat, if you're aware, quote the model number below, because then that'll definitely Let us know whether it's over multiple model numbers or just one. And again, yeah, so that could then bring that pool of issues down to, you know, maybe 5 million consoles instead of 25 or 10 or 15 million. So you never know. But I still don't think it's going to be as bad as what it originally came out to seem. I know some people were amping it up and making it bigger than what it was.
Is what they were saying.
Yeah, but that's also a little bit of fun just to get the reaction from the fanboys on that side of the fence.
I mean, whenever you're dealing with liquid metal, there's always going to be an issue. Like you talk to PC gamers who put liquid metal on in their rigs, and they are very, very acutely aware of issues that could arise from it. They're also aware that liquid metal, depending on the type that is available for PC, needs to be replaced after a few years. And so hopefully, I think we talked about this right when the PlayStation 5 was first like announced with liquid metal. Like hopefully they used or were developing a type of liquid metal that won't need to be changed after a couple of years. It is still concerning because like with liquid metal, obviously not having that thermal paste there, it does mean that it is more likely to not be evenly spread out in comparison to thermal paste. So there is that issue where you might be getting contact, like not getting enough layering for the contact of the APU against like the heatsink and so on and so forth. So that might be causing some issues. But the sealing of the housing unit that holds the actual liquid metal in it, I know that they've said that some of those weren't 100% effective, but I think they've done a pretty good job for designing it to make sure it doesn't go out onto other components. But you're always going to run into issues. And I do agree, it's not as widespread as it should, as the article is making it out to seem like you're going to start seeing this happening a lot. I think it's probably limited to maybe maybe more like day one PS5s than it would be the other iterations that we've seen come to pass. I don't think it's going to be this massive thing that people were thinking it was. It is still concerning, and if you do have any concerns about your console, lay it down, just put your mind at ease. It shouldn't be much of an issue, but you never know. This might develop into something, it might not develop into anything, but it's something to be aware of, that liquid metal has pros, but it also has quite a lot of cons to it as well. So I feel like they were taking a gamble. And kudos to them to testing out. They've probably learned a lot from it, and that's probably why we're seeing those iterations coming through.
Yeah, I feel
yeah.
like as long as as long as I don't blast off like Team Rocket, I'm okay. You know, as long as that doesn't happen, I suppose. But it seems like it's a limited situation or limited, I guess, issue with that guy from what he reported. I just don't want to. I personally wouldn't go too far into it because I know how the fanboys get, and I know, like, you should see the people who came after KY Bob on him stating what he stated. They were heavily like criticizing him. I even saw it get to like Saltiest Gaming, and somebody tagged me in it. Oh, tell your boy KY. I'm like, it's not that serious, guys. It's not that serious. He's just stating it's not coming from a fanboy point of view. It's just thoughts on what it could be. I don't feel like it's enough of a widespread issue to really comment on to say, yeah, this is a thing. You know, that's the only thing I'm saying. But
yeah, I agree.
yeah, but fanboys will absolutely get ravenous if you start talking like, oh, it's an issue. So I'm just mindful of that because I know how they get.
And even Monad says like units that run over a certain amount of hours are at risk, and I agree. Like liquid metal, I mean, it's like thermal paste though. You need to replace your thermal paste after a certain amount of time. And that'll be the case where you probably need to replace the liquid metal in the PS5 after a certain amount of time if you want to keep it running as good as it was when you first got it out of the box. And that's probably where you're going to run into some issues as well when you break that seal on that liquid metal for the first time and then you have to re-put it back together. And that's like, if you're watching any YouTube channels where they do tear apart the PS5 and take a look at it, like sometimes they don't even want to do that to the point because they don't want to have to deal with the liquid metal and like getting rid of it and then replacing it with thermal paste, because once that seal's broken, if you're not a professional, you shouldn't be touching it.
Yeah, I just like to jump in because me and Tryhard went at this on Twitter for a bit, and I want to sort of say the point that you're all sort of saying, because I'm quite happy to put a pin in it, but I think as you're sort of trying to express, Umbrella, even the 360, everything starts from somewhere. And if you actually read the article, they reached 50 faults. There's only 50 consoles they've had the issue with so far. But everywhere, even the 360, all the problems it had, it must have started at a number. And at this point, they're just saying 50. Just say that's all there'll be, I think is a bit naive, really. It could go up, it could not go up, but it's just, I think the best thing to do is stick a pin in it and say, look, there is an issue there, because, I made a video on it ages ago, and we talked about it red, didn't we, when we first started off this podcast. We said, we've had 4 iterations now of the PlayStation, and each time they seem to be mitigating the heat suppression in it. They've altered the fans on it multiple times. They've changed now the heat sinks recently, so they seem to be just altering the heat. And the two major flaws of the PS5 is the overclocking and the liquid cooling, which both massively reduce. This is what I've done a video of. Reduce the lifetime of hardware in your console, and I think that's probably what I think they're hitting that at the moment. And yeah, as Ashtray said, I think it would be interesting to see what version of the PlayStation release, because they've released 4 different versions now, what ones this was affecting. Was it a particular one? And that's why then they made the alterations. So, but I don't think it was ever mentioned it was widespread. The people even said 50 consoles in their statement, if you read through it all.
Which is tiny.
And no one ever said widespread. I think that was exaggerated. But you still can't just dismiss it. You still have to take note.
It's more of a wait and see.
I agree. It's
who was that,
just a wait and see.
Who was that fella that brought up the heat issue originally ages ago? Remember, and he got destroyed, didn't he? What was that guy's name?
Oh, that guy, Austin.
Austin.
Yeah.
But he brought up the heat issues a while back, over a year ago, and he got destroyed and attacked, didn't he? And he was right. He was right.
They doxed him and everything, apparently.
Yeah.
Like that's what I meant. That's what I was saying a minute ago. How ravenous they get, like over small, trivial things like that. The guy is clearly unbiased. He was just giving the thoughts on whatever, his expertise or whatever he understood. And the guys were like dox the man. It's like, it's ridiculous. And it's like you said, everything does start somewhere. That's why I was mentioning with the 360. Even then, it started off slow with the red rings of death, and then it just took off with a lot of people reporting it. I had 7 red rings of death, by the way. So you never know how it could go. So I wouldn't dismiss this outright. I would just say that we'll have to wait for more.
Well, I'm on my 3rd Series X.
You have a 3rd?
Really? What the fuck?
My first one just died randomly. My second one had a issue with the video. And then my 3rd one is perfect. Yeah, no issues.
Wow.
It just happens. Like, I bought my first one that died was day one. So obviously, there's always going to be issues when they're like, and that's the same thing. It's like there are going to be issues with, like, we know that PS5 had issues when it first launched, and so Xbox Series X had issues when it first launched. And so I think a lot of the companies have gone to the point where you're not hearing many issues, and it'll be specific models from those 50 that's come out of this tiny, barely anything in proportion to the size and the amount of actual consoles sold that are impacted in this respect. But yeah, it happens. And news has been light. And so it made the news in the sense of gaming news. And it is something just to be aware of. And have in the back of your mind, like, and to whoever said it in the chat, I think it might have been Tryhard. I can't remember actually said it, but yeah, PC gamers who use liquid metal also have they don't put their rigs on the side just in case, when they're applying that. But it's also very different to I think the amount they apply in comparison to the PS5. The PS5's amount is a lot higher, in my opinion, when I've looked at the amount that people apply versus PC versus console.
I think, to be honest, PCs are just built better. To be in general, I don't think they're built.
That depends who builds it.
Budget. Yeah, I don't think they're so.
Technology messes up sometimes. Yes, moral of the story there. Try hard. You are correct.
Yeah.
Maybe that's now. I just figured out. Maybe that's why they added this wind blowing technology to the DualSense. That you're supposed to blow into it. You're supposed to blow into it. That'll cool down.
Stop the controller from overheating.
No, that's to give the battery life. You got to blow into it to charge the battery.
Kinetic energy. Wind energy.
What if they add a blow port into the PS5? You can blow into it to cool down the liquid metal.
What
That'll
happened
do
to
it.
that? Has any game used that? Whatever happened to that?
Ask
Nothing happened
Jeff.
to that. It was gimmicky as fuck.
Ask Jeff
Yeah.
Keighley. See if he still uses it.
Yeah. Yeah, do you remember him blowing it?
It's going to be in Death Stranding too. What are you talking about? They're definitely going to make that feature available in Death Stranding too.
Oh God. Well, as everyone knows, the sky is falling because whenever developers leave a team, it's doomed, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Yes,
Forza Horizon 5 creative director and several key team members break away from Playground Games to build a AAA open world game for PC and consoles.
Oh,
Do you
does that
know
mean
which?
Does that mean Fable's dead? And the
Yeah,
next,
exactly.
and does that mean the next Forza Horizon is dead as well?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Crap.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
they're
Because
closing
that's
down
what happens,
Playground
right?
Games. You heard it here first.
I don't know if you see my comment on Twitter, when I mentioned on Twitter that people left Naughty Dog and Santa Monica, they said it doesn't matter. That was ages. That was like a year or so ago. But what's the relevance that it been a year or 5 years ago, 10 years ago to now? If people leave companies, then the result should be the same, shouldn't it?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yep.
We were just talking.
People just leave because they just leave. People move jobs because they just want to relocate jobs, or sometimes, a lot of times, they're just assigned for specific roles. You get someone in just to perform a specific task. They come in, complete it, and then they move on. It's just work. That's why I don't get why people make a big dig.
People
deal
have
of
their
these
own
things.
ambitions. They want to make a specific game, so they're
Yeah.
probably going off to do that. How many studios have started off by people leaving another studio, creating a new studio, and then creating new games? Like, we wouldn't have half the games we have in the industry now if people had just stuck with the same old studio and the same old role
Yeah.
and just done that.
I like the name of it too. So they're breaking away from Playground and they call themselves Maverick Games. That's pretty
Maverick, yeah.
cool. They put a bit of
I
thought
got that
into
idea.
this.
I got that
Wasn't
idea from
influenced
that
by the movie
Maverick
at all, yeah.
DLC. The Maverick DLC. That's where they got it from.
But also, they've also said they're going to go back and help Forza, isn't they? They're going to help the team still, so there's still a connection there. So,
Microsoft
it's
acquires Maverick Games.
yeah. that'll be the
Well,
next step.
that's the thing, right? So where's this going to lead? They're obviously got a good friendship. They've known the people at Playground for a very long time. They've been there themselves for over 10 years. They're breaking away. Are they still going to? Are they completely independent? Because they've mentioned that they've got a considerable amount of seed money, which is obviously, people from behind the scenes are putting money in to fund this stuff. Is that money from Xbox or Microsoft? Are they still sort of under that umbrella, or are they completely separate? And is this their sort of way of creating something themselves, getting away from the Forza Horizon games to make their own open world game, and then smart move to get acquired by someone like Microsoft and make millions or billions of dollars, and then they're just sitting back laughing?
It would be clever. I
Mhm.
mean, I have heard that theory put out there. It feels kind of reminiscent of the Western division of Square Enix being bought by Embracer, and people like, oh, they'll eventually Microsoft will come in and scoop them up out of Embracer, which I do hope happens. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Apparently, they got, what was it, 100 million from some investors and stuff to start this up. So
Damn.
I mean, Microsoft has enough pockets money to change to do such a thing for sure. Who knows? But yeah, this was much ado about nothing as far as some people. I saw a bunch of PlayStation fanboys trying to make it into a thing, a negative, and it's like people leave studios all the time. It's not like some doom and gloom. It happens literally all the time. And I mean, you got tons of PlayStation studios, like you pointed out, that the developers leave and go. They're in Microsoft right now, as a matter of fact. I mean, Playground has a bunch of them. The Initiative has a bunch. So it's not a negative in any fashion, and it happens literally all the time. And it's cool. I mean, we'll get something unique out of this from these great creatives. So it's only a positive I can see out of this. If it was somebody who was working on Fable, for instance, and because we got Forza Horizon 5. It's not like we need to, oh, what about Forza Horizon 6? We're good for now. And if it was somebody coming off the Fable team in mid-production in development, then I would be like, wait a minute.
or
then I
something
would
that
have
they
some
do.
type of worry, but this is not that. So I don't see the issue here. I don't see why it should be a negative. And the only ones that's really trying to push it are the diehard fanboys. That's just what it comes down to. So
Trying to make a mountain out of a molehill.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I mean, the people that have left are quite notable within Playground Games.
Yeah.
You got Tom Butcher, a lead producer, so that's a lead. You got Matt Craven, technical director. But the thing is with these guys is they're the perfect ones to go and start a new studio because they've got that talent, they've got that ability. Within a tweet too after the announcement, I think it was who was it? Was it no? I can't remember which one it was, but there was a tweet and he said basically, Mike Brown. Mike Brown put a tweet out underneath the announcement saying that we're hiring. So
Yeah.
there's people that, I mean, obviously they wouldn't be allowed to poach people from Playground, but within the working atmosphere, because they're all in this place called Leamington Spa, which I'm going to relate to like I guess like a Silicon Valley type of area where
Yeah.
you've got a whole lot of tech companies or developers in the same sort of hub area. So they'll probably use some people within that. Again, they could probably get some people from Ubisoft if they live in Europe.
Yeah.
Fly over to the UK. It's not that far. 2-hour flight. Bam. Got a
True.
job. So,
It's true.
you know what I'm saying? So it's good. They're starting something new. I'd like to see where it goes. I think we'll all keep an eye on it for sure.
Anytime we're hearing that a new game is on the horizon is a positive.
Mhm.
And I think
Especially
coming
open
from-
world.
Yeah, and I mean coming from like Playground Games and ex-developers from Playground Games is really key because that Playground Games was only developed in 2010, right? And they have launched 5 very successful games over that period of the last 13 years. And so you know that they've really stepped up the game every time, and it'll be interesting to see what engine they end up using for this because they've used the Forza Tech engine previously around it, and they probably have some experience with some other engines. But it'll just be interesting. Hopefully, it's UE5 because everyone loves that engine at the moment. But the caliber coming from them, you just know that whatever they're planning on doing, and the fact they've already sourced money for it shows that people do have faith in these guys and their vision. And it's now just wait and see. They'll be hiring, and kudos to them to actually break off because it is a risk when you break off and start your own studio that things might not go to plan. And like,
True.
so kudos to them for making that risk and like having all of those people go forth and do this. So I think it's a positive no matter how you look at it. It's another studio that will be available here for them to make games. And you never know, maybe later down the line they might get picked up by Microsoft. They might get picked up by anyone, Embrace the Group, Sony, who
It's
knows? But yeah, I think it's good to hear it'll be a game for consoles and PC. And that's the idea.
And the open world
Steph.
game that they're making they're already actively working on it, which is really good too. So
Yeah.
I'll play
games take
test for you.
6 years.
I'll play test for you, Maverick.
Steph mentions, he says he wouldn't be surprised if if it picked up some Turn 10 devs too. I can see that happening actually.
I agree. I could see that happening. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is, as long as they don't develop their game and then it's all of a sudden, oh, it's going to be exclusive to PlayStation, then they'll face my ire. Then I'll be pissed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hate when people branch off of Microsoft and all of a sudden, no, PlayStation exclusive. It's like, kiss my ass. It's like
Yeah.
Cliffy B did that. You all remember when he pulled that?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's
Law
like, you made your bread and butter. Yeah. Cliffy B, when he did that, what was that game?
Lawbreakers.
Lawbreakers,
Yep.
exactly. It's like, how do you make your bread and butter here with Microsoft and Xbox, and then you make an exclusive to Sony? It's like, why would you do that?
Yep.
Game died.
And he regrets that to this day, which is
100 people played it.
It pissed off
Yep.
so much of the community by doing that and basically doing a
Yeah.
big F you to fans that loved his games.
Exactly.
You don't piss off your fan base. That's
Nope.
like the dumbest thing you can do.
Absolutely. So I just hope that whatever they're making, it's multi-plat at the very least, or somehow worked into Microsoft to Xbox or Game Pass or something, whatever. I'll take it. As long as it's here on Xbox, I'm good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like Grey Monad goes, go forth and multiply. Yes. Yes. I agree.
fruitful.
100%.
Be fruitful and multiply.
I've not
Exactly.
done a shout out to the chat today, actually. Should we do a shout out to the chat? Or
I mean,
just
I have. Do you want to do it?
Sodom?
Elite. Yeah, you do it.
Yeah, you
All
do
right,
it, Elite.
okay. All right, I will. All
Pull
right,
your
I
weight.
will, mate.
Oi.
Oi, governor. I'll tell you what. I'll do it in the style of Michael Caine. Right, so
You sound like
big
it too.
shout out
There's the
Big
cabinet
shout
voice there.
to Paul AFC. Well done, mate. Thank you for joining us, mate.
Oi. Thank you, Michael.
Boba. Is he here?
Thank you, Michael.
Jedi
Caine.
Knight
This
Peter.
here. Yes, welcome, Jedi Knight. Try hard. I need you
Jedi.
not to try so hard. Assassin, appreciate you showing up, brother. And Paul at
Right.
AFC, of course, my brother, appreciate you as well.
We've also
Oi.
got Grey Mold. I mean, Grey Monad.
Yes.
Go down.
Great. Welcome, Grey Mode.
Cornerstone City 777. Did you do a shout out? Did you do a shout out to Steph?
That sounds like a staph infection.
See,
Sorry,
Let's
Steve.
see.
That's my mate, C.
And,
Steph, yeah.
and of course Hamzalo that's on the show bloody next week. I told
Indeed.
Ham to only blow the bloody doors off.
Okay, we have
Welcome,
a
Ham.
we have a super chat from Fuck You going, don't let Elite do it, he can't read properly.
Fuck you. Let's get on with the bloody show.
He says, up yours there, fuck
Bloody.
you. Fuck you.
Bloody.
mod.
And we're doing this in appreciation of Shadowless Edge. He appreciates our accents the most.
Oh my
Loved it.
god. Oh.
Poor guys. We apologize. Your ears must be bleeding. I can't help
My
my
eyes are
accent. This is how
crying.
I talk. So
Yeah,
We're-
I can't help
this-
mine either.
Like a lady.
Don't
Right,
be so confused. Don't be so
And
confused.
go play with your
Shadowless
pillow
Edge.
pets,
Yeah.
Elite.
Yeah. My pillow pets. Are we going to go into the pillow pets again, or should we not? Should we say
No.
that for after dark? Right.
That's after the show. You can play with them by
Yeah.
yourself.
Oi, guys. Oi, everyone.
Oi.
Have you heard? Oi. Microsoft considers 10 billion investment in Chat GPT creator.
Chat.
Chat.
There's no R in
Chat.
there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. why
Fuck
don't we
you,
chat?
you're right. He
Yeah.
can't read.
Yeah. Chat GPT creator. Yeah. So they're gonna just throw 10 billion at for AI appliances. So
Cinch.
Appliances? You mean application?
applications.
You've got too many rums tonight, I think.
No, he just can't read.
They're making AI washing machines. Yeah, no, yeah. I think I've had too many bloody rums. No, AI, which is artificial intelligence. Everyone.
Oh, you got that right.
Yeah,
Good to see.
eh?
Indeed.
That's why you got me. So, what do you got to think about that?
What's
do you want me on
your
next topic?
take, Elite? What's your take, Elite, on these appliances?
Yeah. Well, I guess chucking that's 10 billion is quite a bit of money. It's
10 billion.
yeah, 10 billion.
It's more than
Which is-
Bethesda.
It's more than 9 billion. I know that.
Well done.
Your math
but
is correct, yeah.
yeah. No, I just wondering what they're going to improve on AI. Is this going to go towards Microsoft's just in general? Will they throw this into Xbox? Will they throw this into the gaming market and improve AI? So you just get fucked by AI on every game you play and you just fucking fuck this shit.
You get teabagged by every AI.
Yeah. Because what game was it recently? Oh, it was Starfield. Actually, Starfield. I think Todd Howard said they actually cranked down the AI on it because they cranked it up. And they said the game was just too impossibly boring. So they had to lower the AI of it. I don't know if you guys read that.
Too hard.
I hadn't quite
Yeah.
seen that, mate, but the thing of it is this. It doesn't matter necessarily about game application. This here is more for outside things outside of gaming, right? Microsoft, for instance, is doing this for the other companies they've purchased and acquired.
Mhm.
Okay, that's enough. Let me get out of this. Getting access to
Oh, you've got Idris Elba on her.
Shadowless Edge is going to be offended with us, but getting access to this to the OpenAI natural, it has a lot of applications. I don't necessarily know that it's more for gaming. It's interesting though that they're spending
Yes.
they're trying to spend 10 billion for it. It's crazy how much the money they can just fling around.
As I
But
said, it
it's
must be there. Just
yeah,
it must be
it's
the general
crazy.
software.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's for when you're playing video games, right? And a chatbot pops up and goes, "Do you want to purchase this microtransaction?" No. I agree with you, Umbra. I don't think it's going to apply to gaming. I think it's for
Yeah.
everything else around that. But it is interesting
Yeah.
that they're dropping that amount of money. And because it's Microsoft, it makes
Mm-hmm.
headlines. And because it's Microsoft linked in with the Xbox, everyone's like, does this have anything to do with us? I don't think so. There might be applications later down the line that they can put into gaming, but I don't think at this stage, no.
Yeah, and the
That's what I
thing
think-
is,
I think, yeah.
yeah,
go on,
and
sorry.
this improves AI, like artificial intelligence and capabilities. So I don't know how it could be used. It possibly could be. Hold on, let me. Steph requested Doomy's voice. Look, OpenAI is going.
Oh shit.
Look, besides improving artificial intelligence capabilities. That's enough.
I agree
That's
with what
enough.
Umbra
Do not
said.
expect them to, please.
Don't
When
do
someone
it.
goes,
Don't
"Doomy,
do
what's
it,
your
Ashtray.
opinion?" and do the voice.
I heard
Umbra.
that. I heard that. No, but like the way it's made, I mean, this right here, I know Microsoft, I know they bought some company or they were trying to get a company for like medical services. I forgot the name of it right now, but a lot of that is going to go into things like that to improve things for how the healthcare services can use it and other things. I know they have a lot of government contracts, so a lot of that is going to go toward that. Also, too, is going to create a lot of different jobs, obviously, for people in that sector. So I think it's a positive all around. In that case, Microsoft, it's also just an improvement in the tech part for them, and that's what they are. I mean, they're a big major tech company. I see everybody in the chat laughing. Now, look, you guys come down in the chat, and let me stop before Doomy's mad at me.
Can you please on your podcast come in saying the peasant stuff, and also when he asks Doomy a question, you need to answer it in that voice. J-Rock said he's done.
He's
He
done.
said he's done. I don't blame
Listen,
you.
are you all not entertained?
Are we not?
I know.
Oh, by the way,
Elite's a little horny.
I
Yeah,
know,
very.
right? By the way, we
Elite's,
Risket hit
sexually
us up.
confused right now.
Risket hit us up. By the way, we're going to actually postpone the show tonight. So, unfortunately, I can't do it tonight, but I will next week.
Oh, what a coward.
I hope everything's okay.
Yeah.
I hope everything's okay. All right.
Yeah.
I
So
think
we'll,
we can just play games after this.
we'll just
absolutely.
get Risket to rerun this show in its place on his channel.
Yeah, let's do that.
I mean, we've already got the
Special
best
re-airing.
panel member from Xbox
Yeah.
Infinite, right? And
Yeah.
we're
Quite true.
and,
Quite true.
Who can actually name the other panel members on that show?
Yes.
Umbra, can you name them?
It's so hard to recall them. I mean, yeah. Was it something like a biscuit or something? I can't quite
Soggy
recall.
Limp
biscuit?
It's something
Soggy
like that.
biscuit, yeah.
Yeah,
Mr.
something like
Floppy?
that. Yeah. I've elevated myself. It's hard to keep
See,
track
Steph
of
it.
has said he demands you to do my voice and Risket's podcast
Oh shit!
next week. You see,
That'll be a little.
sad thing
Let me
is,
see if I can do
Steph,
Red's
is
voice.
a Kiwi
very-
accent is actually
very
harder
drawn
to
out.
do than an Australian accent. It's easier
Yeah,
to
see,
do an
Australian is
accent.
easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, Red is key. It's It's got it's close, but it's a little differences here and there that I'll probably miss the inflections for. So
Yeah.
I know it's like some of your words are a little more. I don't know how to do it, but I'd have to work on that one. I'd have to work on
You
that
just have to
stuff.
listen to my voice a lot, and then we'll suss it. Yeah.
Exactly. It'll take a little more
You want me to
trying.
do my best Risket impression, Assassin? I'm really bad at accents, like really bad at accents. And I think I might projectile vomit attempting to do an impression of him though. So I'm gonna not do that. Yeah.
We get on to our last topic.
God damn.
This first show of the year, and it's insane.
It's
Well,
really shit.
let's be honest, they've always been pretty messy. So
It's the best
I love
podcast,
it.
though. The best bad game. Everyone, just share this out. It's the best gaming podcast there is. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, indeed.
We're up to final topic, guys. Right?
Yeah.
definitely ready for the final topic.
I'm like, could it have come sooner?
So Xbox announced after everyone whining and crying. So they got their showcase on the 25th of June.
You're an
25th
idiot.
of June.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
Real soon.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh,
That's
I'm
it.
not- I'm
Bye,
not-
everyone.
Do you want to fix that at all, Elite? Because I know your reading level is really low, but there's another month that starts with J, and it's not July.
What?
He said-
Oh, that's
Steph said.
Jorgus?
Steph said,
January.
Steph said
25th
just-
January.
just do Jedi's voice in and a female tone for you.
Oh, damn.
Well, Peter's like, yeah, mate. I mean, you know how it is. Yeah, bro, you know. So let me try to do that lighter.
Okay.
You know
All
how
right.
it is.
All right. So I'm cutting this off right now. We're gonna get this last topic out of the way. So
I
Xbox
don't
and
know why I said
Bethesda,
June, actually. Yeah, January. 25th January.
25th of January. Yes. So they're presenting a developer direct live stream, and I think they also said they might be doing something else later on. I think they're doing a Starfield deep dive or Redfall deep dive.
Is it
separately.
Starfield.
Yeah. So they're
Yes.
going to cover Elder Scrolls Online, Forza Motorsport, Minecraft Legends, and Redfall specifically. And then they've said they're going to do Bethesda going to have their own show, which Bethesda always said they're going to still sort of, though
Be
they're owned by
independent.
Xbox, be independent and do their own show. So I don't know why there was always that sort of thing. So I've no doubt they're going to do a massive deep dive into Starfield and probably, I reckon, even possibly, what's
No.
an Elder Scrolls 6? Do you think they're touching on that, or Sony? Think
Starfield's going to have its own show
No.
by
I
itself.
think it'd just be that.
Only
Don't
focus on
mention anything else.
Starfield.
I
Yeah,
don't.
Starfield's going to have its own things.
I don't-
Elder Scrolls won't be mentioned here. It'll be
I don't
mentioned at
think,
E3 possibly.
Yeah, I don't
Mhm.
think they'll mention Elder Scrolls at all around like Elder Scrolls 6 because they don't want to take away some of that limelight from
Mhm.
Starfield and put it onto that game. Yeah,
Yep.
at this point.
So,
Yeah,
yes,
and
we're
that's-
gonna see Elder Scrolls Online that no one really cares about, do they? Did anyone?
Are you guys excited to watch this?
I
Because I know
want to
like,
care about it. I want to, but I just have never touched it, and I don't care for MMOs like that. But I got to change that because I feel like I'm missing out on something major.
ESO. Yeah.
I do. I play MMOs mainly, and I like MMOs, and I played the game, and it's okay. But it's okay, and they're dropping stuff on it all the time, and it's almost like when they announced Sea of Thieves DLC, and you sort of that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's slightly less worse because they were really doing the Sea of Thieves thing every time. It was like, enough.
Every
Yeah.
showcase, Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, it got tiresome.
And that's why Elder Scrolls is like,
Well, I mean, are you guys excited to watch this developer direct, considering that like Microsoft showed or Xbox showed nothing at the Game Awards end of last year, and then not long after that, Aaron Greenberg came out and said there's something very soon happening in Xbox Microsoft space around games. So you're happy that it's this month, and like, are you excited to watch it? What are you guys' thoughts on this?
I think they should have advertised it at the Game Awards. Fuck them.
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
instead of just doing a tweet, they should have done this announcement instead of that tweet. Like, put something behind it instead of just a dodgy tweet that felt like it was an afterthought to me anyway. I was
Pandering,
like, did you actually have something set up, or did you put this in a
should've
tweet
tweeted
and then
it out
quickly make some phone
beforehand,
calls and say, guys, I've just tweeted something. We need to now make a show. Like, that's what it feels like to me. They should have had this announcement ready, and not have it at the show, but have it straight after the show instead of the tweet. Have this.
Or even
And that would have
before
been
the
bigger
show,
and
like,
better.
preempting.
Maybe, yeah. But this is the thing with their marketing. They're just not good at it for some reason,
Yeah,
in
they're
my
poor at
opinion.
it, unfortunately, in some ways. And that's like I agree with you. Like people keep harping on about well, I mean, they didn't have to do anything at the VGAs, but this is part of why they have to do this now, because they heard the feedback and they know that it didn't look good. It didn't set a good precedent going forward for this year. It just looked bad, and it's the most watched show of the year in gaming. Yeah, you have to be there to say something. It can't just be some Game Pass ads. So this right here, absolutely, I agree with you. That would have been nice for them to kind of advertise this for the in that show. However, of course, I don't believe they had this show in mind until they heard the feedback. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
that's the unfortunate part. But what I will say, I am excited for this, and I like that they listened to us to say, hey, we're going to show you why you could be excited for the next 6 months. So that to me, I think is smart. I'm glad they did that, and I'm also glad that they set expectations properly.
Mhm.
So telling us that what games will be featured here. You might get a surprise or two, and I'll say what I think that it will be in a second. But I'm glad that they said that and said, "Hey, Starfield will get its own dedicated event and showcase." Rather, I like that.
I
Now, I
think
have a
that's important.
sneaking suspicion that Starfield will not release in the first half. I still have that sneaking suspicion. I know it's kind of unfounded now because they did put it on the website. So, I'm pretty sure they will just do what they said they're going to do. But the sneaking suspicion inside of me is still like, I don't think
Until it
they'll be getting a
releases, it
60.
hasn't released, right?
Exactly. And they promised that it would be 11/11/22 as well. So that doesn't mean it's set in stone, right? Um, but I feel like what we'll get here at this show, by the way, outside of these, like as a special surprise, I wouldn't be surprised. Remember, we were talking about Ubisoft Plus. Maybe that'll be announced here. Maybe the family plan will be announced. I don't know if you all saw that popped up in
Mhm.
Coming
a
to
few
the
people's
States, right?
things. Yeah. So that could be the case that they might show or announce both there. That would be cool. As far as the game shown, I'm most interested about Redfall, and I think most people are. I know a lot of guys in the chat like Steph, and I saw who else? Shadowless Edge. They're really excited about Minecraft Legends, and I'm excited to look into that more too. It's not necessarily the type of game I would play more often than not, but I do want to see what they show there. But my top two is Redfall and Forza for this showcase for sure.
Oh, I can't wait to see Forza.
Hmm.
The showing last time was just like wasn't enough, and I was like, I need to see more of Forza Motorsports. Like, I need to see more on what they've done with the engine and like that what they showed previously was so impressive. So I think it's gonna be so important. I'm definitely gonna be tuning in to watch that.
Okay, so do you think we'll see release dates on these games?
I hope so. I think they have to. To me, I think if they don't show release dates, at least for Redfall and Forza, well, all of them really, but at least those two. That's an L, because that's part of the issue. That's part of the marketing that they failed at, is giving us release dates. That needs to happen. So
Mm.
yeah, if those two especially don't get a release date, and the rumor now, by the way, is that Redfall would be releasing May 2nd, which is cool. That's good.
Yeah.
But if they don't announce that, it's going to be a problem.
So if Redfall's in May, when do you think Starfield will be?
June,
June.
and it's hard to say
Mm.
that because there's so many heavy hitters in June,
Mm.
including Diablo 4.
I don't really care,
Um,
to be honest.
yeah, I don't know if it hurt them or not. And unfortunately, since the ABK situation is not done, and it may not be done by then, it might not be a thing for Microsoft to say, "Hey, well, this could affect Diablo 4." You see what I mean? Because it doesn't matter to them yet. They don't own it at
Hmm.
that point yet. So I still stick with June, because it seems like when they showed us Starfield, that janky 20 whatever sub 20 performance that we saw in frame rate, that to me looked like, yeah, I can see why you all needed this delay. I don't
Well,
think they're going to hit 60. So maybe they
that's
need all
why
this time to get to that.
Umbra. That's why I reckon they delayed it so they could get 60.
Hmm. Agreed. That, and maybe to work on the gun performances, right? And as far as that, how that
Yep.
goes.
Go to
So
EdTech.
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. They've probably got all hands on deck assisting with that
Hmm.
project. Do you think it'll drop before the E3 showcase, or do you think it'll drop before the 30th of June?
I think it'll drop after E3, and that's me. By the way, me and Peter are in a line there. Risk it. He's like he's going to take our knees if we're wrong, right? By
Enjoy
the
your
way,
wheelchairs.
by the way, I had to take risk his kneecaps on that Skull and Bones. I called that being delayed several times in a row, and I was correct each time. And he's like, "Never mind." He tried to call me out of the show. Oh, Umber, look, see, it's coming out. I told you, ha ha ha. And I was
Delayed
like, oh,
again.
watch it gets
It's my
delayed
game
again.
of the year.
Yeah, exactly. And delayed again. So I had to take his knees on that one. I couldn't do it today on the show, unfortunately, but I could say it here. But yeah,
Clip that,
You're in a safe
guys.
space.
Clip him saying
Yeah.
that, and then send it
Yeah.
to Risket's Twitter.
give me those knees, Aussie. But as far as this goes, I feel like Starfield will, if it's not in June, it'll be in the second half of the year. And
Nah, I don't think-
our bet, at least for our kneecaps, is that if it's after E3, me and Pete won, because that's not technically the second half. First half, that's more the middle. That's a split between the first and second to me. If it's hitting anywhere around the 16th or 20th of June, you know what I mean? That is not. I wouldn't consider that the first half of the year anymore. That's at least mid year, or it's a really close.
Well, see, I see the
very least.
30th of June as the end of the financial year, so that still
Yeah.
counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's true too. That's true too. But I'm not going to tell them that.
You're not going to
Yeah, my
concede.
knees.
You're not giving
Yeah.
him any concessions. Yep, fair enough.
No. Yeah, we talk behind the scenes, and we're like, if
He'll
it
take
hits
you to the
anywhere after
FCC,
E3,
Umbra. He'll take you to
yeah.
the FCC.
And you know why? Another reason why I feel like it might be in June, not only because of the technical issues they have to work out to get to the frame rate properly, of what they need, if whether it be 30 or 60, get the gunplay right. I feel like even if you have this showcase for this, in whatever it may be, in February, March, whatever, when they do for the Starfield showcase,
Mm.
a major push at E3, and then saying, "Hey, the game will release this week or release the next week." That's major,
Do
you know.
Do you reckon? Because I know that like every time we've seen sort of deep dives in most of the gaming industry times, the game doesn't take that long to release afterwards. Do you
Yep.
reckon that might be the case? It really depends when
It
this
could
actual
be.
showcase is actually for Starfield. Like we don't know when this is happening, but they're going to be doing it. So we've only got confirmation of the developer direct. We don't actually have confirmation of the date for the Starfield deep dive.
That's true.
So that I think that's going to play into when this game is likely to release as well. So once we get an announcement date for that, I think we get more of a idea of when likely Starfield is actually going to release. And
Mhm.
at the moment, it's all up in the air. It's really hard to speculate, but yeah, I think there's merits in both arguments of it releasing potentially in March now that Redfall has moved to May, but also
Mhm.
releasing later on in the year as well.
Well, that's it, Red. I mean, apparently it was in polishing phase, and then had been delayed. I mean, unless there's a game-breaking bug that caused the delay,
Well,
how
but
long?
Bethesda,
How long?
it's the developers themselves.
Indeed, but how long do you think it would take to get the frame rate from 27 to up to 60 with everyone working on it, including engineers and stuff? I just think, yeah, there's a good possibility that it will launch before May and before Redfall. If it's
Think so, huh?
just a frame rate increase, considering, like I say, just a frame rate increase, but considering that it could be worse,
About optimizing.
you never
it.
know. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you never know. It's 2023, so it could be, and I've put this out on Twitter before. It could be the 3rd of March, maybe 2023,
Yeah.
What's that?
or the
That's the
2nd
most
of March.
famous.
Starfield.
Yeah, that's the most popular theory is 3/3. Yeah,
Yeah,
23.
right. So, Todd likes his dates, so it'll be interesting. But if that's also the case, because March is around the corner, they'd have to have the show. If this is in Jan, they're going to have to have the
I reckon-
Starfield show in
yeah.
early Feb.
Yeah.
I
Either
think yeah.
if it's March for that release, it'll have to be early February.
Hmm.
My thinking is, and I think Riskit agreed too, I think late February, early March could actually be the showcase, and then maybe the game actually releases in like April.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like it'll be June. I feel like they'll show the showcase late February or mid March, and
Well,
say the game will be coming in June. That's
if they
what I
release
think.
it into June, right? That's coming into
Mhm.
your guys' summer, and there's which is kind of ideal for people if they're wanting a game like Starfield's going to be massive. You're going to have to pop a lot of hours into it. But
Mm.
the southern
Yep.
hemisphere will be coming into winter, and so we'll have plenty of time to stay inside and play that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just interesting. But you said that you thought that you were going to mention that you think that there will be a surprise shown at this developer direct. What game do you think they're going to potentially show?
It's possible that they might show some like smaller game or something like that. I don't think they'll announce anything major. I think that'll be saved for E3.
I
But they
think
could
Hellblade
announce a
will be at
few.
E3.
Yeah, most definitely. I think Hellblade 2 is going to be the second half of the year. They're going to release it, I think.
I
Personally,
really
I've
want
stuck to
that
that.
game.
Yeah. But as far as what they'll show here, it could just be that they stick focus to these 4 games. I don't want to say that it's certain, but it feels like if anything will be announced to me outside of gaming, I think it'll be the Ubisoft Plus possibly, and the Family Plan could be announced. I think those might be the 2 things that they might, or one of those things might be announced alongside that developer thing, possibly. I don't want to say it for certain, but those could also be saved for E3. I can see that too. I mean, that's kind of major.
Well, I think
So I don't know for sure.
I think we also need to like temper our expectations around this. It's a developer direct. It's not really
Mhm.
aimed specifically at gamers in
I
general.
agree.
Like, so I mean, we'll obviously be talking about it when it happens, but like, it's not going to be one of those sort of big showcases that Xbox is known for, or Microsoft is known for, or even Bethesda is known for in that respect. So do temper your
Yeah.
expectations. It's not going to be something that's specifically designed to cater to us gamers because they've
Yeah.
called it a developers direct anyway.
Well,
Yeah,
I hope it's not boring though. You know,
I
you all remember when they had that Trebuchet thing. I was like, come on, y'all. I'm like,
I I,
so
I
they gotta temper that. They gotta toe that line a bit to keep it entertaining at least. You know, even if it's
considering
developers. You know,
considering it's going to be on Twitch and YouTube and
yeah.
Bethesda and such, and it'll be on Bethesda's channels as well, and the fact that they know that gamers are hankering for some news, I
Hmm.
think they will probably temper that a little bit.
Yeah,
But again, it's still not aimed specifically for us. Yeah,
that's
it's just
true. Now,
yeah.
I got a question for you guys, because I agree with Gray how he did the schedule for the releases, and I think that makes sense. And I agree with you too, Steph. 16th or the 20th or something like that, I can see for Starfield for the release, June 16th or in the 20th area, whatever. So Gray says he feels it'll be how did
Off
he
April.
word this? Yeah, he said
Mm.
where did it? I just saw it
He
and I
says
missed it now.
April the 12th because it's Space Day.
Yeah. Oh, he says Legends in February.
Right.
Motorsport in March or April. April makes sense, by the way. April could be a spot for Starfield, by the way, because it's
That's
so
what I
open.
think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very possible. And he says Redfall May, Starfield June. I actually agree with that. May, we already know Redfall is May. Motorsport would fit in perfectly in April,
Mhm.
and Legends could definitely work in February. Starfield, I still feel like June. So that to me makes the most sense. But what do you guys think? What would you be your release
Right.
schedule if you're
Well,
counting for Starfield being in whatever month you're putting it for?
yeah, I was just going to say, so I reckon, yeah, they're obviously going to cover these 4 games. I reckon they might even show one more game that we've not talked about. I reckon they might show something that's coming the second half of the year, just to surprise people, because we don't obviously all these games cover the first half, no, but there might be something in the
Mm.
second half we don't know about. So I reckon they might just show something, an inkling of something that's coming in the second half of the year. I reckon they'll definitely do release dates for these 3
They are,
games,
but
for
they're
these
going to
4
show that
games.
later on. It's the Bethesda showcase of Starfield.
Yeah, no, I think they'll definitely show the release dates for these games. I reckon they're definitely gonna do that, and I do think it's gonna be first Redfall. I think we might see Redfall as soon as February, March. I reckon then it will be Minecraft just as a filler, and then because I don't think Minecraft Legends is a massive game. What was the last Minecraft? Remember that Minecraft
Wasn't
Dungeons?
Redfall
That
delayed
was just
6
sort of
weeks? Because Redfall was meant to be coming out March, right?
yeah, March
And
last year.
and
Yeah,
okay, but Redfall was
so
kind of rumored to be delayed 6 weeks,
yeah,
so that's why people are
but
saying it's gonna be in May.
no, I reckon it will be that will give it 1 year's delay then. I think, and then I reckon it'll be February, March, and then they'll do Minecraft as a filler. Because like Minecraft Dungeons was also sort of a filler, wasn't it? Dungeons was also a filler. I don't think it's a big title. I don't think that's going to be a massive title. It's just going to be a game that's just there. Then I reckon there will be Starfield will be about April, as he likes his dates, and April, and they keep linking it back to NASA, don't they? And involving NASA in it, and being Space Day, the April I think will be a good date for it. And I think Forza will be the game that releases in June, if it's not pushed to July. Because the only thing I'm thinking now is you've got 3 big, massive games released in the first half, and they've got to release a AAA game in the second half. It means you're very heavy.
Blade
the first
2,
half.
second half of the year.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
But then you have Forza going against the major heavies in June, though.
Yeah, but but it's not too bad, is it? Because it's a completely different game. It's a racer, and it's
That's true.
and it's never going to compete with them anyway. No one's gonna, it's a completely different genre, and it wouldn't ever compete with them on that level anyway. So I think that's why they'll be fine. Drop that in June rather than Starfield. I think because it hits a completely different genre of players. So, and I don't think that's just as close to being released anyway. And then the Professor show, obviously show Starfield and give its release date as well. So,
what about you on this, Ashtray? What's your release schedule?
Sorry, I just want to jump in as well. And I was going to say, sorry, I say E3 as well. I think they'll get all these games out of the way, and E3 won't even touch on any of these games. It won't even mention these games, and it'll push on to games that they've not talked about yet, and it won't even tell us about Starfield or Redfall and that, because they had already been released or there. So I think it'll just move on. Right, they're done. Move on. I think that's what E3 will be about. So yeah, go on there, Astray.
All right. I think Starfield probably June. We know Redfall's May. Forza Motorsport March probably. Minecraft Legends might drop. Maybe like at the very end of the show. You know how sometimes they'll say they'll talk about Minecraft Legends, and they'll say, and it's available today on Game Pass, and then that kind of thing. Because I mean, that's probably been worked on for a long time. Minecraft Legends, here's a PvP game. I actually think that might be pretty cool. Actually, I need to see more about it, so this is going to be good to see. But I think it's going to be something that might surprise people, and we might actually get a bit of multiplayer stuff happening with that. That's probably been worked on for a long time, because remember, they were going to have the 4K pack. They were going to have all these other things that sort of didn't come to light, and I reckon that that they've been working on this for quite some time. So there's not been any focus on it. There's not been really much talk about it, except for the showing that they showed last year at the Xbox event. So there's a good chance there's been no one saying that it's been delayed that I can remember. So there's a good chance that could drop in Feb or as soon as the show's done at the end of January. So that's what I think. Forza Motorsport, I think that's typically released, if I remember correctly, in sort of March, April. So I'm expecting it around that same sort of time frame. I know it's probably sounds pretty run of the mill, but that's what I think. Either way, they'll be out before the end of this year.
Right.
And I agree. Hellblade, because they wrapped up a couple of months back on some filming, so I think that will be a title that comes out holiday. So what's that? Anywhere between November, December for Xbox around Christmas time. At the end of the year.
Definitely what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Around November, I'm thinking. Yep.
And I reckon we'll get a showing and a date at the E3 for sure on that one.
And that's part of why I'm still with Starfield being in June, because like you pointed out, Ashtray, if it's June, like you said, if it's still before June 30th, that's still before the second half, right? Technically, right? By their standards. So what better way to say, hey, we have this showcase to show you more, and we can announce what we're working on to make sure we get together. We still will be releasing in the first half. You'll hear more about it at E3. And then at E3, they show us that and tell us, and show us another whatever it may be, and then tell us the game will be available that week or the week after. that seems to, and that's another marketing push for what's going to be the biggest first party game for them of the year.
Yep.
But that's speculation. I don't know. I mean, it could. I hope it actually releases earlier. I would love to get on that sooner than later, but I still feel like June just makes the most sense, considering everything that's going on and all the other games they have to release.
I mean,
Well,
this year is
personally.
so full of games. It's ridiculous.
It pushes
Indeed.
it pushes it out to its limit, but what do we have? So what else do we have? We got Wolong Stalker 2. I mean, that's coming soon too, right? Finally.
Yep.
League of Legends. What else have we got?
Atomic Heart.
Replaced Arc 2. I mean,
Yep.
these aren't
Remember that,
first-party
yeah.
studio games, but these are still games that are coming in this first half of the year. Dead Space isn't on Game Pass. Cocoon.
Yep.
Shadow.
Planet of Lana.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, there's still a bunch of games, even though they're not first-party, that are coming into Game Pass in the first 6 months of this year. So, we're still going to have a lot of games to play and enjoy.
I would actually liked outside of just a developer direct, if they maybe could have did some marketing for those games too. Like Steph pointed out, it'd been nice if they'd have talked to the Stalker 2 developers and stuff like that, knowing the situation they're going through, and that would have actually
Good
been nice too.
advertising
Yeah,
for them, eh?
Mhm.
exactly. Advertising for the game, and show a little humanity to these folks who are going through so much to get where they're at, and actually still putting a game out. So that'd have been nice to actually focus on the marketing also for those games in a way, give a little shout out to that. Yeah, Atomic Heart, Stalker 2, all these great games are still coming to the service. That actually would have been nice too. But I guess it is what it is. I'll definitely take the direct. I think it's smart that they're doing it. I'm happy that they've been transparent. And yeah, I'm just happy that they did the right thing personally.
Hmm.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
they have to have release dates. Please have release dates. It's going to be a problem if they don't.
Yeah.
Indeed. I think we're done for the day. Elite.
Yeah.
He's
I
asleep.
agree.
Oh, he's
No, I
there.
agree. We are done for today. Yeah. I think. What should we do now then? Shall we talk in other accents, or should we sign off
I think we should sign off very quickly.
and go play some games?
Bye, guys. I'm out. I'm out already. After you made that accents comment.
How? So thank you. It was great. It was fantastic. I love having Umber on. He's a great guy.
Thank you.
What's that? You are one of the best guests. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that, guys? Is he one of the best guests we have?
It's your show.
And-
You can say whatever you like.
Yeah, it's your show.
I'm gonna-
And
Okay.
as a special comma guest, Elite.
I only say one of the best because Dauntless was pretty amazing.
You're messy.
It was like having a snail on a podcast. But seriously, we love having you on. We love to have you back again.
Yeah, I
But
appreciate
please,
it.
please, where can we find you?
You guys-
Literally, where do you live?
Yeah, let me dox
I'm gonna
myself
dox
really
you,
quick.
yeah.
Yeah,
What's your number? Put your
you
number
all
down in
can
the chat.
find me on the west side of Chicago. Come at your own risk. No, yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me again. It's always a blast to talk with you guys. I love talking gaming, and especially with like-minded, intelligent people like yourself. So I appreciate
Very
it.
intelligent.
Hang on, you're
Glad
including
that-
Elite in that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm glad
Oh.
you're including us in that conversation, Amber, but I think you need to be a bit more selective around
No,
that.
Elite, when he gets that rum in him, it brings his IQ points up even higher.
Appliances?
Yeah.
Appliances?
He was
I-
testing us. He was testing us to make
Red.
sure that we would, alert. That's all it was.
I drink
Yes.
a lot just to lower myself to your level of IQ.
Oh,
Yeah.
You drink
Well-
enough just so you're on the same, just so you know you're on the same level as everyone else. It's okay. I get it. Elite,
Hey,
elite. You
I know.
like to think you're above everyone, but reading level of a 2-year-old is not okay. Elite.
he drinks to dumb it down for us. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Very considerate. Very
Considerate, yeah.
considerate of you. Yeah. I mean, I had another
Pillow
request.
talk
from-
with Elite.
Yeah,
What's talking about here?
I had another request from Steve Steph. Look, you can find me on Twitter under Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way. And look, no, let me stop. You got, yeah, thank you guys, for everybody that came out to support, all my buddies and everybody. Appreciate you all. You can find me on Twitter, like I said, on the Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way, and of course on the Xbox Infinite podcast, which we had to postpone today because of some things going on, but we might air it tomorrow instead. We might go live tomorrow. It's possible. So we'll update you guys if that's to be the case. And of course, you can find me on Xbox Factor with Boom, Double Barrel Gaming, Boom, and Cast on Tuesdays at 12 o'clock Eastern. And yeah, thank you all for having me again. Yeah, I appreciate you all for coming through and support us on that show as well.
Yeah, no, thanks for being a guest. And when are you going to update your Xbox name so it's the same as your Twitter handle, or vice versa?
I've been asked that a few times. I don't know, man. It's kind of tough because I've had Super Havoc for so long. It's kind of tough to move on from that, but I might need to get my brand awareness and get that together. You might be right about that.
Because
I
say it, and
it means he gets confused.
Yeah. Well, I do, because I see it and I'm like, oh, I know that's Umbra. All right, that's cool. It's cool. Because it's different.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's all right. Red, I hope you had a great holiday. Glad you're back on the show. What have you been up to? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and you can find me on Xbox, and that's about it at the moment. And on this podcast. I've been good. I was telling you before the show that my sister was really nice and got me a Xbox mini fridge for Christmas. So
Nice.
I'm stoked about that. I'm deciding where I want to put it in my gaming room. That's the hardest thing to do once you've got it. It's like, where does it go now? But yeah, I am happy. I've been at the beach and now I'm back, and like I'm waiting for summer to actually hit. I did get sunburned, but only just because it's been so horribly wet in New Zealand. I'm kind of sick of the rain at the moment. It's been like last year was the wettest year in history. So
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's 38 degrees Celsius here in Australia today, which means what's that? 100, 101 Fahrenheit?
It's 21 degrees here.
So it's quite hot here today.
Yeah, we're only 21.
Wow. Yeah. You guys are a little bit lower than us though as well.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
anyway,
They're under everyone.
Whether you like it or not, I'm AshtreyGaming. You can find me on Xbox, YouTube, Twitter, and other platforms under AshtreyGaming. It's TREY. Get on right, Peter. It's an E. Just letting you know, mate. All good. We're going to jump into some Anthem after this.
You actually got my Anthem?
Yeah, I told you. We'll jump on. We'll play.
Okay.
Yeah. Just give me 10 minutes and then we'll jump on.
10 minutes to fly.
All right. Thanks for coming, everyone. Hope you like the new layout, which is probably going to evolve a little bit more over time. But any feedback on that would be great. Let me know. Let us know. And I reckon